So, good evening, everyone present here. Today's topic is gastroenterology, and the faculty we have here is Dr. Nilanchal Chakrabarti, sir. So, you can take over. Thank you.
I'll touch upon the topics which are more high yield topics in MRCP gastroenterology. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Fine. Thanks. So read these topics quite carefully so that we do not miss anything. First case: a 42-year-old gentleman presenting with lethargy, depression, and impotence. So, what are the key clinical findings? Lethargy, which means generalized malaise, depression, some amount of neuropsychiatric presentation, and impotence leading to for last 2 years, maybe cause of the depression, or it is a hormonal signs and symptoms. Patient is hypertensive and little bit overweight with BMI of 29, and different blood parameters that are given below. You can see the first thing, blood sugar is high. So patient is diabetic. Patient is having hormonal symptoms. Patient is obese. Okay. So your provisional diagnosis goes in favor of hemochromatosis. And here you like to see transparent saturation, the constellation of diabetes, increasing skin pigmentation, and evidence of pituitary dysfunction, pituitary hypothyroidism, and importance with a deranged LFT features in favor of hemochromatosis. Transparent saturation is the optimal blood test for this diagnosis. Ferritin is also elevated in different chronic liver conditions. HFA gene analysis is the mainstay with respect to confirming the diagnosis. Otherwise, we go for liver biopsy. So, out of the options given here, if you only go for testosterone or morning cortisol or growth hormone, that will not help you in diagnosis, which consists of diabetes, hormonal symptoms in favor of pituitary hypopituitarism, and obesity and diabetes. So all these 3-4 features will lead to diagnosis of hemochromatosis. So hereditary hemochromatosis is very high yield topic, which presents with chronic fatigue and arthralgia, features of arthritis, joint pain, skin pigmentations. So we call it bronze diabetes, hepatomegaly plus minus cirrhosis if it is in advanced stage, which leads to increased risk of hepatocellular carcinoma. Diabetes, as I said, with hypogonadism and sometimes cardiomyopathy. So increased serum ferritin, increased transferrin saturation more than 45%, and conformation with C282Y gene, that is a HFA gene mutation. Question number 2, it is a 27-year-old lady presenting with severe agitation and abdominal pain, which means the neuropsychiatric symptoms along with abdominal symptoms. It's an emergency, so usually the patient presents with emergency with agitation, anxiety, you don't know associated with abdominal pain, or abdominal pain is causing this agitation. And it's a recurrent symptom. So the presentation will be like 6 occasions over the last 4 years. Vitals will be given. And investigation leads to myometrophilia, which will be suspicious of any infection, maybe some low sodium related to abdominal pain and vomiting, and differential diagnosis will be given. So neuropsychiatric symptoms along with abdominal pain with recurrence history in a young lady, you always have to think in favor of acute intermittent porphyria. Intermittent porphyria is very common topic, so we need to go all out. So usually the presentations are severe recurrent abdominal pain, neuropsychiatric manifestations, sometimes peripheral motor neuropathy, proximal muscle weakness, leading to respiratory paralysis sometimes. And when patient goes into respiratory paralysis, usually they initially hyperventilate, the PCO2 will be low. And when the PCO2 comes to normal, it will be impending respiratory failure. So, and that is a respiratory emergency. Along with autonomic dysfunction like tachycardia, hypertension, maybe associated with hyponatremia, secondary to SIDH. And because of the urinary porphobilinogen, there will be dark or reddish urine. Usually, we send the labs like urinary porphobilinogen and gamma ALA during the attacks. So, what are the differentials? Acute intermittent porphyria, most important, severe abdominal pain, neuropsychiatric symptoms, neuropathy, tachycardia, raised urinary porphobilinogen, ALA, associated hyponatremia secondary to SIDH. Other causes of abdominal pain with neuropsychiatric symptoms are lead poisoning, which will present with a colic, and there will be anemia. So if you see in the peripheral blood smear, increased blood level or basophilic stippling, commonly we miss, which goes in favor of lead poisoning. GB syndrome will present with more ascending paralysis rather than abdominal pain. And all of us know that CSF analysis is the diagnostic test for it. Thyrotoxicosis will present with tachycardia and hypertension, but abdominal pain won't be there. Acute pancreatitis will present with abdominal pain, but neuropsychiatric features will not be there. So the interpretation is from the urinary porphobilinogen and ALA, where in acute intermittent porphyria in a young lady will present with abdominal pain and neuropsychiatric features. Okay, thank you.
Well, thank you, everyone.